Hey, this is C Grove. I'm here today with Javier Gonzalez, who top Ford Denver with a amazing deck, as you can see his picture here, Celusaur. So, Javier, why don't you go ahead and introduce us, give us a little background of yourself, especially in the game. Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, my name is Javier Gonzalez. I'm actually from the Bay Area in California.
Cali.
This is my first year in Pokemon, like, competitively.
Awesome.
I picked up the game in March. Denver was my first standard regional tournament. So, I was kind of excited to bring, Celusaur, because I'm a huge grass starter Pokemon fan.
Yeah,
So,
same.
So definitely something was very exciting to do. So yeah, that's just kind of a bit about, kind of a background about myself, how I started into the game. To be honest, a funny story is I wasn't really into Pokemon in the beginning. Like last year when I saw a box, I was like, hey, this card actually looks kind of nice. And I just picked up one of those starter kits. I think my first one was, at that time it was, what was it? I can't remember anymore. It was, the Decidueye Tails. Decidueye.
Awesome.
It was like the starter deck with Decidueye. I was like, all right. So that's how I started the game. And I'm here a year later, getting top 4 at my first regional. So that was a very exciting thing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I have your list up right here. I want you to talk about what makes your list different. Actually, you just said something that I wanted to ask you about. You said you've only been playing for a little bit. Did you did you do any other competitive like card games or chess or anything like that before this?
So I used to dabble in like card games and like here and there, not really competitively. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh in like the 2010 era when Blackwing was a thing. Black era. What's it called? Can't remember the name. Like Board of the Spear. Kind of like that whole like kill your board really quick.
Yeah.
Do a lot of damage, pierce damage type of thing, but not really competitively. I did a few like casual tourneys. Nothing too big. Played a bit of Hearthstone here and there. Nothing, again, just casual.
And do you play that now still? Do you still play Hearthstone?
I spent too much money on my cards in Pokemon to be able to afford Hearthstone.
Yeah.
That's why I have like full everything. You see like my my list.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. So tell us about what makes your list a little bit different.
Yeah, of course. So actually, this list came into fruition not just by myself. I can't take all the credit. I have a good friend that I had made during Pokemon. His name is Joel Strove. He was actually kind of also a big mastermind of the deck.
Okay.
Before this deck was in creation, a lot of the times we built Celusaur as more of a kind of stall, the typical stall, Plumeria, Crushing Hammer type build. Not that much healing.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while of testing it, losing to another person in the Bay, Finnegan Lynch,
mm-hmm.
After losing to him with his Turbo Darkrai Zoroark deck, which was kind of a funky deck, Zoroark, because of Muck, it just felt bad, I just hated the feeling of losing, 2 decks you think you should beat.
Right.
So my friend came up to me like, hey, I made changes to the list. We added 4 Guzma instead of 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
He still kept the Crushing Hammers, but then I thought, to myself, this list is nice, but I kind of want, kind of a draw power to get items and trainers.
Yeah.
And since you only have 7 Pokemon and 11 energy in total, so 18, and the 42 are trainers, I was like, Build is probably really good in this deck.
Right.
Because you have 42 cards, and you're probably always going to hit at least 2 things you need.
Right.
And I was like, oh, and Mixers might actually not be bad instead of Crushing Hammer, because instead of like, let me roll a dice, if I fail this, I'm going to lose. And this is more like, hey, you deal 100 to 260 damage, let me just deal everything off, just like you didn't play the game.
Okay. So it's a max potion if you play both without losing the energy.
It's 90 HP, and you heal all conditions. So it's pretty good. It has those 2 effects. It's usually technically very best for most decks because you're usually not drawing into it or don't really care about it. But for Celusaur, since you're such a tanky Pokemon, you could take the hit, and then once you use builds, you could have like 8 cards, use builds, draw into 7. Find a mixer there, you could like just heal 90, and that's pretty much all the damage gone. So yeah, so we kind of pretty much switched from the stall type game to a more of a heal turbo build, where there's a lot of Acrobikes, Juzz, Lilies, Erica, so you keep on drawing into the things you need, pieces you need. And so it's kind of like a lot of people like to say it's kind of like the Groudon of the standard era.
Yeah.
Where, Groudon, you kind of set up those, single attachment turns, set up, then knock out everything. It's kind of the same with Celusaur. Another thing we added that a lot don't do is they put buff padding, but we prefer to do Choice Helmet and choice band with an adventure bag and then a skateboard.
Yeah.
So of course you attach the skateboard to Shaman, so you have those 4 Guzmas, so you can keep on Guzmaing and targeting the things you need to target.
Cool.
So that's definitely like the major switch in the deck.
Did your friend also play in Denver?
Yes, he did, but he did not play Celusaur. He wasn't one of the. I had 4 other friends that came with me that played Celusaur, but Joel Struff, he actually betrayed our deck. But he played, I think, some Zapdos with Jolteon or Zapdos Lycanroc.
Okay.
Maybe a fighting type. But yeah. So
was anyone else?
Did not join us.
Was anyone else on your same 60?
Most of my friends were almost on the same 60, but a few support accounts we didn't agree on. Erica's over Cynthia's, Lily's over Cynthia's. Alex Monsenflo was another player that made top 16. He got 14th place. So I can't speak. He was the one that was streamed on the last match we played against Finnegan for the win in. He pretty much played the same list. The only difference from mine to his was 1 less Lily, an extra build, and instead of Erica's, he played 2 Cynthia's.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So what were some of your more interesting rounds or interesting matchups that you played against?
Of course. So the first one, this is like probably the highlight, even though I got top 4. The highlight of my whole Denver trip was I actually faced a Blacephalon in my day 2.
Okay.
And at this point in the game, facing Blacephalon pretty much felt I wasn't going to make top 8 because I had to win out on day 2 and get 1 tie. Yeah. And this was like round 11, so you couldn't say, hey, let's tie and win out,
Yeah.
So going into this, I told my friends, I lost. My dream's over. I'm going to play against Blacephalon and lose both games. So actually, the funny thing about that, I was actually going to scoop to the guy at first. I was like, I'm not even going to try. What's the point? I'm just going to lose right away. I was like, screw it. Anything happens, Pokemon, right? I'm just going to try and play the game. And I actually did win both games. I didn't drop
2-0.
Yeah. 2-0,
what happened?
Which was insane. So pretty much game 1, what happened is he started both times too. He set up his board, he Marshallowed. This is where actually, in game 1, I did get a bit of a handicap, luckily. When he Marshallowed us both, he actually drew 6 cards, so he got a double price penalty.
Hey.
But still, as a Celusaur player, that's still going to be a very hard thing to come back from, no matter what, even though you have that price penalty. But what I did was, my game plan was, if I could stop him from drawing into energy or setting up, he still had to manually also attach to his Blacephalon to attack. So I was like, I'm going to attack the one that has energy, have to disrupt him, and go from that strategy. So what I did was I Pollen Hazarded active with energy. He Guzman up a Shaman, did his GX. What I did then, again, I took the Shaman out of the active. I just Pollen Hazard, set up another Celusaur to get ready in case this got knocked out. And then this time he couldn't retreat or Guzman anything up. So he left it inactive. So he took another 30 damage. I Pollen Hazarded him one more time so that by the time he finished his turn, if he couldn't retreat, he'd get knocked out going into my turn, which happened.
Oh,
so
nice.
what that means is, now I'm down to 4 prizes technically, right?
Right.
And he promotes to Nagandel. Luckily, because I got the 2 prize pumps, I had the Guzman for game.
Nice.
So I won it that way. Second game, kind of did the same strategy. Only problem was, turn 3, he got a knockout on one of my Celusaurs already. So he really only needed to knock out 1. I was like, all right, I'm kind of screwed. But the only good thing that happened during that game was he didn't have as much energy, and he also had a Lele at that time. Because he had to play Lele to draw into 8 cards.
Okay.
So what I did was, after he knocked out, he had to use up all his energy. The whole Pollen Hazard again, right? Let's see if I could stick to it. Hopefully he doesn't play Energy Switch, because if he did, that would have just ruined my whole game plan. Because he just Energy Switched the Blacephalon out, retreat, then Energy Switch or whatever, and then just knock me out. But luckily, I don't know if he played Energy Switch in his list or not. He couldn't retreat. So again, the whole knockout, I'm down to 4. So this is where the big brain play comes in. I had to get the other one, knock it out, and then go for the Lele. So I kept on acrobiking, got the adventure back, so I attached the choice band, then got the Guzman from a Judge Whistle. So I Guzman up the second Blacephalon, knocked it out, and now I'm at 2 prizes by the time it went back to his turn. So no energy on the field, only a Lele, 3 Nagandels. So he pretty much couldn't really knock it out. He hoped I didn't have the Guzman. But because I ran 4, I had the Guzman, and I won the game.
Great. That's awesome.
Congratulations. I was sweating bullets the whole time.
Yeah. 2-0. That's amazing. All right, so what other matchups were pretty cool or exciting?
Honestly, the second matchup I'd have to say was probably my. I have I wrote it down just to like talk about it.
Yeah.
Another matchup I had that was pretty exciting was probably my top 8 match against Zachary, I believe his name,
Yeah.
Kessler.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a pretty good match. The reason why is because I kind of had a slow start in game 2 where the one he won because I won game 1, he won game 2, I won game 3. The reason why was because during the game 2 against Zapdos, your game plan is you never want to attach more than 3 energy in the beginning, because if you attach 4, they kind of have an easier time to knock out Venusaur with the Tapu Koko GX. So I always try to go for the 3 energy, 2 Shaman, Pollen Hazard as much, and make them just disturb or stall out their game plan, so they'd have to find switches, escape ropes, and find a way to retrieve Zapdos, or knock out a Jirachi. Kind of just make it so that it would be hard for them to play it out.
Mm-hmm.
In game 2, what happened was he pretty much had like God draws in almost like all the turns, so that plan didn't really work. He was able to knock out my Shamus really early. I couldn't really draw into my heal cards right away. So what he did was I had to start benching the second Celusaur way too quickly, and I had to over-attach, which means I had 6 energy on the field, which is 300 with the GX.
Yeah.
He didn't have to use any of the electric powers, which is kind of a huge hindrance in your plan. Because if they save all their electric powers, it kind of makes it much easier for them to KO that second Celusaur.
Right.
So he pretty much just, all right, GX knockout. Then I was like, he's at 1 prize, I'm at 5. I kept on taking knockouts, so I'm down to 2. I only need the Coco GX now. I'm like, all right, I put some damage on it. Or no, he had Shrine, I believe. He had some damage on it. I'm going to be able to knock out with my GX. He ace rolls it up. So I'm like, all right, there goes my game plan. He puts down, I believe, the Tapu Koko again, does the Tapu Koko Prism, and then just knocks out with 4 electric powers and choice. And I'm like, well, there goes game 2. And I was like, all right, now I'm down to game 1. But the last game kind of went in my favor. I was able to just heal everything off. Speaking of which, there was another Zapdos player, Emmanuel, a Lynch. I guess he's one of Lynch's, someone who studies under Lynch. He played with the Buzzwole GX and everything. One of my favorite moments in that was he did about 220 damage with Buzzwole at a turn.
Oh,
and
wow.
I told you about Mixers being MVP, or I didn't say MVP, but it's the MVP of the deck.
Yeah.
Not even Celusaur. What happened was I had 2 Mixers, I played it down. I went from 260 down to 170. I used Erica's Drawn to 6. I had another herb in hand already. I drew the second herb and Life Force, so I played both of them down again. And that's another 90, so it's 180 right now.
Nice.
Put Life Force down, another 60, so it's 240, and then just a potion, and all the damage is gone. So that's pretty much like the game plan of the whole Celusaur.
Yeah.
Just kind of piss off your opponents by healing all the damage off.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of my matchups I did have to say were pretty favorable. A lot of them were Zapdos or Cario.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of speed on in a sense where they can't really do that much damage. Zapdos does have that one chance to with Tapu Koko GX. So if you play it in the sense that you don't overbench energy, you kind of do it in a way that your board state is always in a spot where they have to overexert themselves with like 3 power enhancements or 4.
Mm-hmm.
They can never get to the point where they can KO the second Celusaur, and you just kind of outright win the game. Most of the time, this deck, like I said on my Facebook post, is a long haul type of deck where you're not going for the easy first KOs like most decks are.
Yeah.
You're kind of trying to make them waste their resources. So by the end of the game, you're probably like at 5 to 6, and they're at 1 prize, but they're never going to be able to take that 1 prize because it's the last Celusaur.
Right.
You just take all the prices at once.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then that's pretty much most of my... Ultra Valley was another one, but that was kind of hard too.
Yeah.
Ended in a tie.
Okay. What was that matchup like?
So actually, this guy, it was my second match. Luckily, he didn't know the Celusaur matchup as well.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of did attack too early. Sometimes, throwing the energy to attack Celusaur to do minimal damage. So I was able to heal it off.
Right.
Usually what Ultra, Mally wants to do is to power up that Ultra Mally.
Right.
Save at least 3 or 4 and then just 1-hit KO back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he didn't do that, so I was able to keep the Ultra in a bit for inactive. Sorry. But yeah, so I was able to kind of take that to my advantage, take his misplaced and kind of capitalize on it and just, stall him out. So I was able to win game 1 like that, stall out his game plan, judged him before he got to turn, my 4 prize, so when he had B-Swing turn.
Right.
Skipped, he couldn't draw into it, and then I just kept on knocking out. Game 2, unfortunately, I kind of misplayed near the end. He did go down to 1 prize again because the whole only flinch 2 shamans as well, by the way, never 3. I just kind of thought game, death sentence
Right.
2. So I kind of did that game plan. He knocked out 2 shamans, 1 Celusaur. I was like, all right, last one. I knocked out of his ultra, so I went down to 3. He didn't get Beast Wing turn, but he did Dawn Wings GX. This is like one of the few people that plays Dawn Wings still.
Right.
Most just stick to the 2 ultra. That kind of threw me off. He did his GX attack. What I could have done is I could have Guzman and then attacked the Malamar or something to go down to 2. Or even GX at that point because I still had it. But I kind of misplayed and I was like, oh, I'm going to draw Erica, get 6 cards so I could maybe have a chance of doing something. But I missed the last mixed herb, so I was able to heal like maybe 90 damage, but I needed the second set to be in the clear.
Right.
So because I did that instead of, doing the whole Guzman GX and being in the safe for sure, I kind of went for the risky play and it didn't pay off. And he knocked me out. But because both games kind of did take too long to play out, we could have finished the game 3, so it ended in a tie.
Okay.
Or actually, we didn't even start game 3.
Okay.
So yeah, so I did capitalize on his misplays, but technically, mostly, all the time, Ultramali should be favored in that matchup just because they have that raw potential of being able to one-hit KO you.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I really like the deck. I'm very happy that you're able to achieve what you're able to achieve, especially your first regional. Super cool. Do you have any plans for going to like NAIC or another regional this year?
So yeah, a funny story. At first, at the beginning of the season, I didn't really think I was going to go to like those regionals. I was like, my first major deck was Ultra, but I didn't really like it. My first deck I actually loved was Skepta.
Oh, yeah.
No, Skepta was going to be bad type of thing. And the same with Celusaur. No one expected Celusaur. So I wasn't really going into like the mindset I was going to do well.
Right.
But with this quarter doing really well with Celusaur.
You won a cup too, yeah.
Regional finishes. Not one, sorry. I actually got second, unfortunately. Keon, who's a really good player in the Bay, kind of just me.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I do think I'm going to try to go to NIC since I'm at that 394 mark.
Awesome.
I do plan on try to finish another cup this quarter, try to bump my top 8 to a top 4 at least. I don't know about Expanded. I kind of really suck at Expanded, especially since I just started here, so I don't know any of the good introductions. I'm kind of really bad at it. And my only Expanded regionals I went to was Portland. And I pretty much tied all my games because it was a deck. It was like Malamar, Giratina. It's a horrible experience. So yeah, so I'm doing Santa Clara because it's in my hometown, nearby. I'm definitely doing that. And NIC, yeah. And hopefully that'll be enough to try to push me to Worlds, especially since it definitely would be great to do as a first year, kind of a rookie season. So it might be impossible, but I think with this finish at Denver, I have a decent chance.
You can do it, man. That's great. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and good luck on your invite, and we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully at Worlds. So
thank you. Hopefully too.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Javier. It's good to talk to you. Shout out to my patrons, Caleb Vance, Dan Nelson, Pokestats. Thank you guys so much, and Alex Haney and Daniel. Appreciate it a lot. Steve, Enrico, Jess Swinson, Stefan Ivanov, Cecil, Gabe, Will, and Brian. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, supporting me, and helping me continue to produce content, which I believe is beneficial for people who are watching. Thanks again. Peace out.